What are we calling this? The Calvin Show? What are we
The
calling it? We
Calvin
don't.
Show.
The Calvin Show. We call it the Calvin Show. The
Calvin
Ask
Show.
Calvin Show or the Talk Listen to. I don't know. The Calvin Show.
It's
Eh,
Calvin and it's a show. That's all we need to know.
my buddy Ari in LA
Hey
and
guys.
New York, and it's super fun. And so, this is the place where we talk about making your life into a work of art and really going for your dreams and being creative, and having fun, and not least chilling the fuck out. Just like my dog here. I don't know if you can see her. She is really good at chilling the fuck out.
Chilling hard.
It's in her zone of genius for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I got more questions from your loyal readers. This
All
one's
right,
from Thomas,
Thomas. Yes.
who wants to know how you deal with time management.
Oh, how do I deal with time management? That's a good question. All right. Yeah. So I love getting these questions. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. You can just email hello@calvincorelli.com, for example, is a great way to send your questions. Now you know that.
Awesome.
How do I deal with time management? Yeah. So several years ago, I learned from what's his name? Schwartz. This guy. Oh God, I can't remember his name. He's out there on the speaking circuit and stuff. Tony Schwartz is his name. His point is that it's not about managing time as much as it's about managing your energy. And I really like that. So there's at different times of day we have energy for different kinds of things. David Allen, the guy from the Getting Things Done, talks about something similar as well. That like there are certain things that you can do while you're waiting for your partner to get ready with her makeup and hair and whatnot. Then you have a few minutes. Maybe you can do a call. Maybe there's small thing that you can do there. There are other things that you best do early in the day when your head is fresh and all that kind of stuff. So context is key. And another thing from David Allen is this idea of break things down, like and make them very specific and concrete. So the task of figuring out what needs to be done is a task in itself. And then once that's done, and you've mapped out, these are the very specific things that needs to happen. I need to email this guy about this. I need to call this guy about that. I need to make this whatever. Like once you've broken it down, those steps are much easier to do. It requires less mental effort than if it's just like a broad blob. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Totally.
And so thinking about how you make it easy for yourself to get those things done that need to get done, and preparing. It's kind of like in a kitchen, in a restaurant kitchen. They do all this prep work where they chop all the onions and they have everything in their right spots so that when they're cooking they can be really fast and efficient. So you kind of want to be the same way, that when you are ready to do your work and you have that mental capacity, you have everything ready to go, so it's easy for you to do it. Those are a couple tips.
Fantastic.
Something that I always do too is I used to think of this as a fault, but I'm starting to see more and more that it's actually a strength. I tend to do things when I feel the energy around it. Like for example, software specifically, but it applies to like almost any area. In software, I have some Plero, right? And there's a lot of features that I would like to make, and there's a lot of features that my customers would like to see. And kind of the old-fashioned proper way to do it is that you have like a long list of features that you then prioritize based on, customer needs or marketing needs or like your needs or whatever. And that tends to not really work very well for me. What really works for me actually is more that some customer needs something right now, and it's something that, so I've already done usually the work of figuring out how would I implement this. I'm ready to implement it. Doesn't mean I'm gonna implement it right now, but I like to do the work of figuring out, well, if or when I'm going to implement this, how would I go about doing that? And so that's, similar to what we were talking about before, there's like break it down first as a separate step. And then when I'm ready to do it, I'll always be already be like a few steps ahead, you know?
Right. It's like having contingency plans for different outcomes.
Yeah, it also helps me just, plan in terms of software that like different things and features that they fit together. And then there's this thing you want to do, and then you need this other thing first. So you're like, let me do that, which I had already mapped out and planned, and then I'll do the other thing, things like that. But so then what tends to happen is that some customer is requesting this feature right now, and it just so happens to that the stars and moons and planets and my biorhythms and whatever lines up so that let me do it right now. And that's kind of when, the energy is there from me, from the customer, it kind of fits together. And I tend to really honor that, actually. And like I said, I used to make myself wrong for being this way. Like I should be more organized and structured.
Right.
But the reality is that when I follow my energy and my flow and my creativity, it's like, sometimes the same thing can take, 10 times as long if the energy is not really there.
I find that to be true as well.
Right. And it's kind of like, I was reading Elizabeth Gilbert. You've heard of her, right?
Eat, Pray, Love, right?
Exactly. And her first TED Talk is fantastic. It's inspired me so much. It's about like where inspiration comes from and things like that. But she wrote recently this book called Big Magic, I think. And she tells a story of how there's this book that she was writing, and then she had to, like, she got sidetracked for 2 years because of her boyfriend / husband or something, the new one, the one that she met after Eat, Pray, Love, and she had to go sort out his visa paperwork because she's American, he's not, and I think she ended up writing another book then called Committed. And then when she came back to the book that she was deep in the process of writing before all this happened, the energy was gone, the inspiration was gone, the magic was gone. And it's this idea that there is this kind of, we're touched by spirit, we're touched by some essence, some sort of energy that I like to think of it as like, this thing wants to manifest through us.
Yeah.
And then if you try, if you try to come back to it, 3 weeks later or 3 months later, the energy may be gone, right? So there's this feature that someone wanted, or there's this idea that you had for a product or this thing, and you put it on a list, and then 3 weeks later, 3 days later, 3 months, 3 years later, you come back to it, and you're like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it, right? So really honoring that and be allow that energy to move you, when you're called to do things, and just trust that there's always going to be tons of stuff that you leave on the table that never gets done. So allow yourself to really honor that and focus on that energy, and keep enough space in your calendar to allow for that to happen.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think there's like one more thing, but yeah, I think these are good things about time management.
Fantastic. All right.
I also multitask, which you're not supposed to do, but it tends to work really well for me, actually. So, hey.
Maybe that's part of it, is just doing what's good for you and
Exactly.
paying attention to that.
Yeah, exactly. And really just honoring what is right for you and where your energy is at. And in general, if it's something that you kind of have to push yourself to do, then maybe something needs to change, right? I mean, filing a tax return, sure, we all got to do that. But if you've arranged your work and life so that there's a lot of stuff that you kind of feel like you have to make yourself do, maybe it's time to fix something. Yeah.
Amen.
All right.
Until next week.
Yeah. Make your life a work of art and chill the fuck out.
I'll see you soon.
All right.